So we have Google Messages turning on RCS by default, and group end-to-end encryption is now launched. I noticed this because I was texting from a review phone to another phone that I had, and it was immediately RCS by default on, and I was very happy about that. And I was like, I don't think I turned that on. No, that was cool to see. The iPhone is still no longer involved in this whole RCS thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, Google kind of was pushing this ad campaign for the last year or so called Get the Message, where they've been trying to get Apple to adopt RCS or at least allow RCS in the Apple Messages app.
Yep.
Not going to happen. But I think, when Google first launched this, I was like, it feels like they're just being really like weirdly aggressive and like it's not really going to do anything. But I do think that it has helped the general public consciousness kind of like be more on Google's side.
And
overall.
I think that's the intention.
Yeah, I think that's a marketing campaign. Like, I don't think they expect Apple to change it all, but it's a sweet marketing campaign to be like, hey, look, Apple's not changing this, but we have.
Yeah. I noticed like it's been a very well-received topic by people who find out. It's kind of interesting. Like, I don't think this ad campaign is designed to sell Android phones or to get Apple to actually change anything. But I think because Google knows that there's no shot they ever change it, that they can just push on as hard as they want with this. And if they do actually change, they win. But also if they don't change, everyone just gets to see Apple painted as kind of the bad guy in this one feature war.
Yeah.
We did a video or a short on RCS and this whole part of the battle that they've been waging for a while. And a lot of people in the comments are like, whoa, I didn't know about this. And this is actually crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I remember Hassan Minhaj was here. We were talking on the Daily Show and the same thing happened. Like he was asking me, why are like the messages, like there are so many different messaging platforms, and like every time I try to message someone, the Android phones don't work with the iPhones. And I actually explained, I think for the first time he's ever heard that, I was like, that's actually by design, right? Like Tim Cook literally,
he'd never heard that before.
Yeah, he was like,
we live in such a
iPhone,
bubble.
like get your mom an iPhone. He was like, oh really? That's actually fascinating.
We live in such a bubble.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're getting it out the bubble. They're like spending money to tell people about this.
I think that them turning it on both by default for new and existing users is like really important and really good. Mm-hmm. It's very rare that a company will auto flip on a switch that you have to opt out of that has already been off. Because generally when you would start using Google Messages and RCS became available to your carrier, there would be a pop-up that was like, do you want to turn on RCS messaging? But like what regular people that don't know what they have no idea what that means.
Exactly.
When it first came out, I like had my specific friends. I turned it on. I was like, I know who has this on right now. I texted like 3 people and then immediately saw like them typing back to me and all the things. And we were all like, oh my God, this is so sick. And I was like, no one cares about this.
Yeah, I mean, Google is changing like a lot of the verbiage in the Messages app too, because they now, instead of like start a new message, it says start a new chat. And I think they understand that the word chat to people feels more like a free-flowing, like live thing, whereas messaging is more of like an email.
It's like a little old schooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy that they turned it on by default for everybody. I think that's really good. They had 800 million people using RCS as of I/O. And they said by the end of the year, they'll have over 1 billion. I'm pretty sure this just pushed them over like multiple billion.
It's the easiest way to get to a big number is force it.
But I think it's going to be great overall for a lot of people who now just start texting each other and all of a sudden they have like, rich messaging features.
I was going to say, it feels like there's no downside.
Yeah.
Just in the way I'm looking at it. I think if you asked Apple or if you asked other companies, they'd be like, well, this is the Google RCS, or there are certain things that they don't want to like jump in with Google on. But generally, if I'm a user, it's like, oh, you just turned on encryption for me, you just added features for me, and you just gave me like typing indicators and reactions. I feel like that's a win.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that over the next few years, like the sooner they were going to get this out the door, the better, because over the next few years, it'll become less and less of a meme that Google doesn't have a competitor to iMessage, which I think is really good. Because like throughout most of the world, Android phones are way more popular than the iPhone.
Yeah.
So just being able to have something to compete with that is good. The group end-to-end encryption finally being live, also very important, because when you would talk about RCS to people, a lot of people who were sort of in the know would be like, RCS is still a joke because it doesn't have group end-to-end encryption. They mentioned that they were going to do this like over 2 years ago. single user-to-user end-to-end encryption through RCS launched over 2 years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
And they've said we're working on group messaging end-to-end encryption forever, and they just launched it. So very glad it's finally here.
Do we know what happens yet if one person in the group chat doesn't have it? Does it just become the new meme?
I don't know.
Like the whole thing breaks?
I would like to test this because it's either the whole thing breaks, but at WWDC this year, one of the updates that they didn't actually talk about on stage, but was an update to iMessage, was that if you have an Android user in a group chat, but there are also other iPhone users in the group chat, the iPhone users can continue to use a lot of the iMessage features with each other, and the Android users just won't really see those, and it won't really work for them. But that it's sort of a two-side, like double-sided coin, right? Like that could be good or that could be bad depending on how you look at it. So they could either do that. Google could either do that, or they could just make it totally break. So it's kind of up to them.
Might have to try it.
Yeah,
might have to try it.
I think we have to test it. Yeah,
mess around and find out.
So
Dieter is very happy. Shout out Dieter.
Dieter somewhere in the basement of a Google office, fist pumping.
Yes, having a pizza party, right?
RCS, baby. We should ask people to /subscribe in a unique way at the end of a clip.
Kind of want to just do the clip that's that. It's like, you guys ready for clips outro? Yeah, what are we gonna do? We need to tell them to like and subscribe in a unique way.
Okay, that's the clips outro.
That was it.
Did we do it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
See how easy that was?
Full effort.
Oh,
just for you, Clips channel.
You know what I also want to say? Recently, I've been looking up a lot of best podcast lists. In a lot of the best tech podcast lists, we're not on there. That's exactly how I feel. Put us on there. But we were on Wired's best tech podcast list that I looked at yesterday.
I love Wired. I've always liked Wired.
I always knew those guys were good.